Shalom. All praises go to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'Sham Yahweh Shai, Ba'Sham Adawakadash, the double honors unto the elder apostles, a great milestone for the teachings of the scriptures, among other things. Shalom to the sincere Akim across the world. Now, if you've seen the other videos that I did, you would know that I've been talking about the Panama Canal for a year. So I feel like a prophet right now. Nah, I'm just kidding. But I've been talking about the Panama Canal for a year now. And of course, you if you've seen the other videos, you would see that. You would know. But now, actually a month ago, I didn't even know this. I saw it here on this guy, and I knew about him like maybe 2 weeks ago. I knew about this video, so now I'm kind of 2 weeks late. So now it's a month later. So I saw this video when it was about 2 weeks, or maybe 1 or 2, or something like that. Maybe 3, I don't know. But I also documented that because I was using this screen recorder, and then I saw it for the first time. I saw it here in the recommendation section. But yeah. So this guy does great video documentaries and stuff like that. But let me go up in it because scriptures came to my head, Lord willing, as I listened to what he had to say about the Panama Canal. And this is a great video. It's 40 minutes long, so if you have the time, you should check it out. I'll put the link in the description box.
Under threat.
My administration will be reclaiming the Panama Canal, and we didn't give it to China, we gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
Trump's bluster about taking back the canal revolves around this port. This is right here at the mouth of the canal, here on the Pacific side. It's called Balboa Port. It's a logistics hub where containers are stored and moved around. It's a significant piece of the canal. And there's also another one of these on the Caribbean side of the canal, both of which are owned by one company that is based out of Hong Kong. They've owned and managed this since the late 90s. Remember the treaty that says that the canal is to remain neutral and that the U.S. can unilaterally intervene if they feel like
the broken treaties. Now he's about to break this one again. And he has been, these Edomites have been doing this for hundreds of years. Here you can see here, U.S. broke over 500 treaties with the Native Americans. From 1778 to 1871, the United States government entered into more than 500 treaties with the Native American tribes. All of these treaties have since been violated in some way or outright broken by the U.S. government with Native Americans and First Nation peoples. Still fighting for their treaty rights in federal court and all that type of stuff, which is, here it goes further. Fighting in federal courts at the United Nations. Yeah, until this day you're fighting, since 17-something, since 18-something. Well, actually 17-something. They've been fighting. So, if you don't get it by now that these people are diabolical, then yeah, you just don't understand. Now it says here 6 native. Well, it's the same thing. The U.S. had signed hundreds of treaties with indigenous people. Here again is the same thing. Here again is the same thing. Violation. There shouldn't have been a blueprint and stuff like that. They did it with the Native Americans. 1972. Here 1972 initiative. The Trail of Broken Treaties, but here it only documents from 1778. So they've been doing this since before the 70s. So it's well over, I think it's more over 1,000. I don't know, but knowing these devils, I'd be like, yeah, I believe that. But what does Esau feel about a piece of paper? Just like Bush said, it's just a goddamn piece of paper. Now they want to debunk that, the Constitution, a goddamn piece of paper. They want to debunk that, but I know about this thing because I was actually following it, and I checked them. There was no record of Bush ever using these words in public. Right. Bush screamed back, so stop throwing the Constitution in my face. Bush screamed back, there's just a goddamn piece of paper. So how do these Edomites feel about a piece of paper or something that is written that has the force of law, whether it be by their own laws or whether it be by the Heavenly Father's laws. Here it goes into it. Genesis 25:33. And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And Esau sware unto him, Esau. And he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. So he looked down on it. D is like de-escalate. D means down, and then specera, which is going into spectacle, but it means to look at. So he looked down on it. That's what despise actually originally meant. You associate these things with it nowadays, but originally it means like he despises something. When you despise something, that doesn't mean necessarily that you hate it. It doesn't necessarily mean it. But yeah, so he despised his birthright. He looked down on it. Like, what is the piece nothing is going to do to me? What is this basically piece of paper or something like that is going to do to me? Not that it was written as a piece of paper, but going on. But only later when he finally realized, like, hey, shit, the blessing also that is connected to the birthright is now taken from me. Because he said, Genesis 27:36, and he said, is not he rightfully named Jacob? For he had supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright. No, you sold it. Liar. And behold, now he had taken away my blessing. Okay, that one we did take. And he said, hast thou not preserved the blessing for me? So the difference between supplanting and deceiver, supplanting is that he's going to take your place. Like that game, they walk around a bunch of chairs, and then when the music stops, everybody sits. That's kind of supplanting to a certain degree, but everybody is in on it, meaning he didn't deceive Jacob. Like, hey, that birthright is nothing, man. Why don't you give it for me? I'll give you some money for it. No, he didn't, because he knew that the birthright was very important. He just didn't care about it, especially at that moment in time, because he was thinking about food. Right. And said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do with thee? What shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. That's why Esau has everything right now. He has all these so-called beautiful mansions. He has all these gated communities. Sorry. He has all these gated communities, and just resorts and all these type of places where you just can't go. You have like security here. Jacob descendants don't have this, and if they do, they live amongst Edomites. So it's not theirs. It's an Edomite that set this up for other Edomites, and right. And this is just one country, and you have different islands, you have different places upon the planet Earth, outside of America, outside of Europe, where he also has these luxurious type of palaces and homes, whatever you want to call it. So he has the fatness of the earth. He has all the gold, the silver, everything. And the dew of heaven from above, meaning the nutrients, because dew represents that things will grow because it's water. So nowadays you would have to rely on, if you want to have a garden, you would have to rely on an external form of watering the garden, which means well, back in the days, it would mean that you need to be situated near a lake, because, if you have to get water out of the lake and then bring it all the way to your place, it's going to take a lot of time. It's not convenient. But if you have it near water, then your city will be very prosperous. Yeah, Mesopotamia means the land between rivers, so those lands were very prosperous. And Sodom also, it was also a land situated near a lake. Well, that was actually the Dead Sea, but you had a lot of waters with canals there. Canals. Okay, so let me go on. No, it says right here. Verse 40. And by thy sword thou shalt... Well, I don't have to read that. But the point that... Let me see something. The point was here. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. He was crying. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. Now it says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person. Profane is when you are outside of the temple. You're doing untemplish things, ungodly things, basically. And a fornicator is an adulterer, but it's also in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14. That's the first time that spiritual fornication ever came to in existence. That was before the flood. If I'm correct, before the flood? Or after the flood, a little bit. One of those two. I think it was before the flood. Yeah, before the flood. Let me double check that, man. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, which is spiritual fornication. Here, for the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life. So this is where it started the first time. And that was in the time of, let me see. Yeah, in the time of old, when the proud giants were. So when they perished, because this is talking about Noah. Let me see here. A man that went to sea without art. It's talking about Noah, because there was people didn't do stuff like that, not really. Well, especially him. Noah didn't do it because he put his faith in the Heavenly Father, but also in that piece of wood here. Here it says, in that piece of wood, he put his faith in it. Well, he put his faith in the Heavenly Father that he would save him through that piece of wood, which was that ship. Proud perish. Yeah, if I'm correct, this was before the flood, and they died because they were idol worshippers. Spiritual. I haven't read this chapter for a while, but it was spiritual fornication started there in the time of, well, before the flood, in the time of Noah. Going on. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau. And by the way, he giveth his daughters the capability of, he giveth them the way to be able to prostitute themselves through online, OnlyFans, and online other websites and stuff like that, where they can do things. And you have certain females up on the planet Earth that think that they are not cheating on their husband because that they're not having sex with other men. They're just using plastic on themselves and just spreading their legs for the camera, and they say like, yeah, I'm not cheating on him. I'm sleeping with him only. He's the only one that I've been with and stuff like that. That's still a form of fornication. So Esau is that guy. He was also the guy that brought pornography to Germany on a larger scale beyond their own imagination. And that was Esau Amalek, actually. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. He was crying, but yeah, you can't repent for that, because So that's what he feels about treaties. That's what he feels about something that is an agreement or a covenant or a written law or a rule. He cares about none of those things. So that's just to show you about how he feels of the Panama Canal Treaty that he broke. He doesn't care, going back 3,000 years ago. Well, actually, it's 4,000. So from now until 0 is 2,025 years. And then from 0 until like 2000 BC, something like that. Somewhere around that time. Now, Psalms 50 and 16. But unto the wicked Heavenly Father said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy snout? Seeing thou hatest instructions and castest my words behind thee. The wicked Jacob descendants do this too, but this is for Esau, because Esau is the one that really, he's really the one, like, you know. But yeah, the wicked Jakes that were in power did this too. So did other heathen nations, other heathen nations, but this is foremost for Esau. You have to understand that the scriptures are sometimes more than multiverse, like duplicate meanings, double meanings, double fold, triple fold, quadruple, and even more. You know, sometimes it could be past, present, and future in the same sentence. Right? But yeah, going on. So what am I doing here? Oh yeah, let me get back over here.
That neutrality is being threatened. The Trump administration says that this arrangement gives the Chinese government too much influence in the canal.
Look, the president's point is we gave the canal in a treaty to Panama. We didn't
but he wants you to keep the treaties. He wants you to actually keep the treaties. But what did the Heavenly Father say? Isaiah 33 and 1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to be spoiled, when thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. He wants you to keep the end of the bargain, but he never keeps the end of the bargain. You know, the agreement. He never does that. Never. It is impossible for him to do it. For the Edomites as a collective, as a nation, they can't.
Give it to China. You come back 20 years later and you go to the canal, and on the entry points of both sides of the canal.
Same thing what he did with Russia. So these Edomites be backstabbing each other too. But anyway, let me go on.
Is a Chinese-linked company. There's a violation of the treaty.
The Chinese Communist Party advances its global economic...
Sorry for stopping all the time. I'll put the link in the description box so you can check it out for yourself if you have the time. They keep on pushing this word communist because that's actually a attack word. Because he already programmed the people in America to think like communism is something bad, is something that they don't do. Meanwhile, they have communism, but they come with it under the tongue, snake tongue, as if it is democratic? Democracy. They come with it. They come as if it is democracy. They come with it as if it is democracy. But it's actually communism. But they're lying to you. If you think your votes count, then okay, cool. Then it counts.
Contest against the United States and takes a militaristic interest in the canal. Chinese companies are right now building a bridge across the canal. The partially completed bridge gives China the ability to block the canal without warning. And the ports give China ready observation posts to time that action.
Trump, una vez que se instala como presidente.
Oh, sorry about that.
Observation post to time that action.
Trump, una vez que se instala como presidente, desde el inicio empieza a mencionar el canal de Panamá y lo menciona como si fuera.
Because he wants that money. Because a lot of money is in the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal is, well, the Suez Canal. The daily revenue is about 15 million a day. And then you have the Panama Canal, which is also, I think, a little bit more, but you don't get the real numbers. You're gonna get a year number. You know, it's kind of irritating. But if you go here, then it will kind of say to a certain degree, approximately 15.6 million a day daily revenue is what they make to a certain degree. Right. So going back over here. So that's why they want it. Something he can grab. So the people over there also know. Something that's his. Something that's his. Right. Let me. Something that he can grab. Something that's his that belongs to him. So this is the book of Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 5. Yea, also he transgressed by philosophies. He's a proud man, neither keep it at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death. He's greedy and cannot be satisfied with what they have. Think about it. They have the entire world. Why do you want like an extra 15 million a day? You got billions a day with everything. Listen, they're actually not supposed to tax you on the individual. Let's say you buy a piece of fruit, right? Let's say you buy a single piece of fruit, and one single avocado. You gotta pay taxes for that. You gotta pay. You pay taxes for this, man. You pay. That makes no damn sense. Like, what? It's taxes. Ain't taxes supposed to be collected every month? Or because some people get paid every month, some people get paid every week and stuff like that. But anyway, that's another thing. But every single individual item in the store, you pay taxes upon them. You know how much money that is that he's bringing? He's bringing in trillions. Fuck. He's bringing in beyond billions. You know, eventually it will turn into trillions. That's what he's bringing in. You know, if you go to the supermarket stores, everything here is taxed. That's crazy if you think about it. You know how much money in taxes he just makes when you buy it yourself? Come on, man. But he's greedy, you know, just like death. Never stops from hungering, because every second somebody dies, and every second somebody is put in the grave. So it's continual desire. It's an everlasting, never being satisfied type of hunger. That's what Esau has. But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. But yeah, that's a different part of the scriptures. Micah chapter 2 verse 1. Now it says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence. And you're going to hear about that right here. And houses, and take them away. And that's what they also did. But then in the beginning of the video, it shows you that they took an entire land of Panama. It's very crazy. They took see that border over there? Damn, I don't want to actually. Okay, maybe I'll get back to it later. But the point is that they took. Wait, let me see here. You had a USA border. Yeah, this is it. So you see within the yellow thing is theirs. So the point is that stripe here, that was actually belonging to America. The yellow part and also the red. No, wait a minute. Yeah. The red were U.S. military and stuff like that, and the Panama Canal zone, which is belonging to America, and the green is of course Panama. And then you had this place over here, which is the Panama City. They did not include this in America. They had their reasons, because, you know, they didn't want to do certain things. And also, Colon Fort was not a part of America. So it's just crazy. It's the land of Panama within the land of America, within the land of Panama. The two greens on the side. It was a whole bogusness over there. And unto this day, they still have it down like that. You know, because that's what these people do. They rape, rob, murder, and steal, do everything just for money's sake and just for lust. You know, Jacob descendants, they murder each other for turf they don't own, you know, blocks and stuff like that. They murder each other for red and blue and other type of stupid colors. Well, the colors are not stupid. Their mentality toward it is stupid. They murder each other for drugs, bitches, females, whatever they call them nowadays. And you know, but these Edomites, what do? They murder for lust, adventure, and just desire, and see how it feels, cuteness, and all these type of things, you know. Just everything you can imagine for pleasure and lust and trying to be adventurous and stuff like that. That's why they murder and kill. And it has nothing to do with their upbringing, because they often love to say that, his father beat him when he was young, or his drunk mother, left him alone all the time, and now he just hates women. No. They grew up in middle-class houses, normal houses, had a so-called strong presence of father in the house, loving, kind, and mother, and all these type of things, and even father, loving, kind. And still they turn out to just fuck dead bodies and chop off titties and suck them off until they are shriveled and just stinking, and just go out there and find a new body to have sex with and stuff like that. These are the things that they do for lust, pleasure, and just for fun. BTK was killing for sport. All of them are just doing it for sport, fun. It's fun times. Take them away, so they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. In their own land, they took the land, and then they oppressed them in the land too. They were oppressing them. And if you watch this documentary, you will see what happened. This guy does great documentary. And the funny thing is, he's just a regular Edomite. They make it their own tongue to fall upon himself. He's just a regular Edomite that... I saw a story about what he did. He's very good at telling stories. He told how he was doing some kind of thing, and then he just didn't find the meaning in life anymore. So he was like, what do I do? And then he came up on this YouTube, and then he found his real passion. And since then, he's been making groundbreaking shit. Like, really? Like, what? It's some dope stuff that he coming up with. And I can, they make it their own tongue to fall upon themselves. And I can make videos off of this guy, but I'm a month too late. So yeah, going in. I saw this thing today. I was cleaning my room, and actually the whole house, but and I was just listening to what he was saying, and then I heard a few things, and I thought to myself, hey, let me make a video about that, right? So going on.
¿Aún me pertenece?
Tal vez sea la primera vez que mayoritariamente la población está en contra de Estados Unidos.
Anti-American demonstrations in Panama's capital, reminiscent of the last century.
The last century, and that is what it's documented here for the fights and stuff like that. The people of Panama, the canal zone here, a lot of people oh, I saw it here, right? Look, there you have the green thing in the middle, the U.S., and here you see it again. And the people was complaining that they were not allowed to go into their own country because the military there would just stop them and stuff like that. And at one time, they went over there to go plant a flag. And then I think 4 people on U.S. side died. And then something to 15 or 20 something died on the Panama side. And, they had wars, a little, stuff like that. But let me go on. You can watch the rest for yourself if you have the time. It's very dope. I like it. And I can't stand that the Chinese are there also ruling over our people. So it's just crazy. Either it's the Edomites or Elam, which is East Indians, or the Chinese. If you know about South America, I lived there, born there. So I know what the fuck I saw. I know what I see. That's why I don't like them. I don't like them one bit. So if you know what I'm saying? If you're not used to an angry slave descendant like me, being around certain people, well then, that's why I'm not around you. I can't stand certain people. If you just say dumb shit, I can't stand you. But anyway, let me go on.
Ni de ninguna otra potencia están en el canal.
Trump directed the military to draw up plans to reclaim the canal. And over the next few months, Trump's top officials traveled to the canal. Here's the Secretary of Defense on a 3-day trip to Panama, announcing a waterfall of new American military presence and funding in the canal. And here's the president of Panama agreeing to basically all of it.
Why is he agreeing? Well, check this video here. I'll put this link in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. It's a very great documentary to teach you about how the mindset of a caucus is. Yeah?
Ecuador for many, many years has been ruled by pro-U.S. dictators, often relative
pro-U.S. Shit, sorry.
brutal. Then it was decided that they were going to
Relatively brutal toward their own people.
the Democratic election. Jaime Roldos ran for office, and his main goal, he said, as president, would be to make sure that Ecuador's resources were used to help the people.
Help the people.
And he won, overwhelming, by more votes than anybody had ever won anything in Ecuador. And he began to implement these policies to make sure that the profits from oil went to help the people.
The people.
Well, we didn't like that.
We didn't like that. Did you see that, man? This guy wanted to help the people of Ecuador. They didn't like that. Does that make any sense? But then again, if you read the scriptures, then you come up across, I think it's John 11. Then you come up across John 11, and then you scroll down, of course. And then it says right here, John 11:47. Then gathered the chief priests, these are Israelites, and the Pharisees at council, and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles. He just brought back to life Lazarus, so he can raise you from the dead. That alone, what the shit had your mind like, I'ma praise this man, and nothing else. But what did they do? What did the house Negro do? They said, if we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him. Isn't that a good thing? No, because they want you to believe on them. And the Romans shall come and take away both our place, our place and nation. So it's even lower than that. They didn't even have the power. It was given unto them by another race. And here it is, you have Yahushua that comes and that wants, that will have, the power will be transferred unto him. Man, I would be happy as a motherfucker. Then I don't have to do anything. All responsibilities relieved from me. I can just live a normal life, chilling, playing games, they'll just do anything, man. He'll take, I got this. Hold my beer. I'll hold your beer right, or your wine right here. Huh? I'll be a cupbearer. What? Man, that means I don't have to do a lot of things. They don't want that. They want to take orders from the caucus and then let you worship them. As if they're the main character. They bow down to the caucus, the Edomites, the Romans. So it's just pathetic seeing a bitch that has a boss that wants to be a boss over you. God damn, and he doesn't want to lose his position to another boss that is godlike. Come on, man. But this is what's up on the planet Earth. This is what's happening. And even the high priest said, "No, consider that this is expedient for us as a nation." What are you doing? You know nothing at all. That one man should die. You know nothing at all. He was talking to them like, y'all don't know nothing, That one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. And this speak he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahushua should die for that nation. And not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of the Most High that were scattered abroad. Hey, who are the children of the Most High? The Israelites. But anyway, yeah, so there's that part. Going back to over, I think here.
I was sent down as one of several economic hitmen to change Roldos, to corrupt him, to bring him around, to let him know, okay, you can get very rich, you and your family, if you play our game, but if you continue to try to keep these policies you've promised.
Trying to keep these policies you have promised. Do you hear? Look at his face. And they talk shit about serial killers. They talk shit about actually, they don't talk shit about them. They speak about them as if they're not the same. That's what I actually should say. Because most of the time they speak about serial killers in very high account or something like that. They speak highly of them, like they're very intelligent, they're very smart, they're very this, they're very that. I'm looking at these devils like, you fucking pussy licking, you penis sucking. Why are you glorifying this devil? Why are you doing that? Because they see themselves. They always speak well of them. But as soon as a Jake rape a woman, oh, he's a monster. He needs this. But when Ted Bundy was raping and killing and fucking dead bodies too, yeah. If you watch his interviews, he was fucking them dead bodies too. Just like Gary Webb that he helped catch. But he was fucking them dead bodies too. But they don't say shit like that about him. They're saying you have a few individuals and all that there. But mostly they say, well, he was so charming and every woman just could get swept off of her feet. I'm looking at this shit like, God damn, did you just say that about that motherfucker? I saw Jakes that look built up on built muscles and stuff like that. And I know the bitches went with those guy up in the room. But then, you know, something happened and now she screamed, rape, rape, rape. You know, you got hoes like that. But Ted Bundy boy, they speak well about him. Oh, he was so well spoken and so charming. What the fuck you? But anyway, this guy says this thing with a straight face as if he's not being the devil. Same thing they said about BTK. He was talking about killing as how other normal people would be talking about cutting their hair. Yeah, so I want it done this way, and I don't really like the other one and stuff like, you know, somebody I don't want that. So that's how he was talking. And they want to talk about him like he's different. You're the same as them. You're literally the same as them. Only he's not juiced in with the elites. The BTK killer, you know, bind, torture, kill. He wasn't juiced in with the elites, or else he would have been not even in the spotlight. He would have been another Jeffrey Epstein statistic, and then they would say it's a hoax. It's a Democratic hoax. I bet you.
You're gonna go.
You're gonna go. We're gonna kill you. We're gonna murder you. We're gonna make stuff happen to you. Yeah.
Listen.
But he wouldn't listen. And what happened to him? Ecuadorian leader dies in plane crash. Oh, you think, oh, what an accident. Oh, so bad. How did that happen? Huh?
As soon as the plane crashed, the whole area was cordoned off. Mm-hmm. The only people allowed in were U.S. military from a nearby base and some of the Ecuadorian military. When an investigation was launched, two of the key witnesses died in car accidents before that.
Two of the key witnesses died in the car accident. Oh, what a cursed place, baby. The Pharaoh put a hex on them. Ooh, spooky. Yeah, man, come on, get out of here, man.
A chance to testify. A lot of very, very strange things that were going on.
A lot of very, very strange things. So strange, so strange, so strange, you know. If anything happens in politics, nothing happens by accident. If it happens, you can bet it was planned that way. Roosevelt. Let me go back over here. Why do you think he's shaking their hand? If you watch this, you will see that they come with a briefcase, a suitcase of money. I can't find it here. I saw it. I need to go watch the whole thing again, because I remember that I saw it. Or maybe it was another documentary, because he did multiple ones, and he doesn't change the story. He just sometimes with this one he adds more, because this one is like 45, but I didn't watch that one. I didn't watch this one either. I watched a few other ones, you know. But anyway, but this one is the juicy one. I do admit that. Of all the other interviews that I watched of him, I like this one the most, because he really goes into stuff. And the person that cut this up and put these pictures, and this guy was trying to get the oil. He was trying to get the oil from out of their, like here. But if you look at this, Lord, here, how the U.S. and Iran became arch enemies, right? So if you go to around here, look at them there. You see them here, right? But what happened? Well,
and ended.
Let me get this then. No? Okay, let me see something. Where is it supposed to be? Hey, shit, sorry. Here.
Exactly set up very fairly. Iran, the country where all of this oil was actually located, was only entitled to 16%.
16%. They was only entitled of their own oil. Same thing with, I heard they found oil in Suriname, so.
Of the company's profits, whereas the other 84% of profits were going directly to the British.
So they took 84% of the oil. They took it, yeah? 84% of the profit.
By the start of the Second World War, the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company grew to control all of Iran's oil.
100%. They grew to control 100% of Iran's oil. And now the people started to get angry.
To become the largest company in the entire British Empire.
So what did they do?
But this company's unfair terms was growing within Iran itself, while at the same time in 1941, Nazi Germany invaded history. Iran was suspect biographically at the Soviet Union's southern flank, and their intentions were considered suspect by both the British and the Soviets. Despite having declared neutrality at the Allies, it could have opened the right on Iran's Soviet corridor to get vital supplies into the Soviet Union.
Basically, what did they do?
Finally, Iranian
here, look, this guy.
With
this guy came up in the scene, and with unanimous voting,
unanimous approval from the Iranian parliament, finally did so. Britain responded to this by immediately embargoing all Iranian oil. And
they wanted to fight, and that's the same thing that you have here, here. What did they do? Wait, let me see something.
Overthrown and brought in the Shah of Iran to replace him, who always was favorable to oil, and it was extremely effective. Most of the effective. One CIA agent, permanently, he managed to get Mossadegh overthrown and brought in the Shah of Iran, who was elected in Iran. He was considered to be the hope for democracy in the Middle East and around the world. He was Time Magazine's Man of the Year. But one of the things that he'd run on and began to implement was the idea that foreign oil companies needed to pay the Iranian people a lot more for the oil that they were taking out of Iran.
So yeah, it's the truth. You give me my money. What do you want? Right? So what did they do?
The Iranian people should benefit from their own oil.
Iran acts to take over the British oil asset.
Strange policy.
What the fuck? What do you mean British oil? This is funny shit, bro. Like, it's funny. These devils are really funny. They covered stuff.
We didn't like that, of course.
Of course you didn't like that, because you think that is your oil. They even named a company. This makes no sense. But hey, if you're trying to understand a serial killer, go ahead and try. But yeah, that's the same thing as an Edomite, because they are that. That's them, especially their elites. They're well-functioning psychopaths. They're well-functioning schizos. They're schizo, but they're well-functioning. They're very successful and well-functioning schizos in a materialistic world. But even that is crumbling right now, because they're two schizos. Now schizos, normal schizos, they can't really function with each other neither. But these high-functioning Amalekite schizos, here, so it says here that they have a gene, according to their own selves, okay, I didn't make this up. They have a gene that, this is from the US.gov, so this is from the government itself. Anyway, so here you have this thing, scientists discovered gene that predisposes Amalekites, fuck this bullshit, Amalekites to schizophrenia. So it says they tested them, they didn't test 100% of them, but the point is, these Amalekites, 40% more likely to develop schizophrenia and similar diseases because it's in their DNA, but they're very good with functioning. There's functioning schizos. If I said it right. Here it was 80%. Shit, here it's even 80. Oh, this from the government. So what, 80%? Yet the identification of the susceptibility gene has proven extremely challenging. Okay, whatever. Suspectability, okay. They know. Disturbed in schizophrenia. They're fucking loco. They're cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. If I said that dumb shit right, doesn't make no goddamn sense. Cuckoo for what the fuck is that? Well, it just came out of my mouth because I heard it somewhere. But anyway, so they're psycho. That's what they are. But they're well-functioning psychos too. Devils, well-functioning devils. They're very good, very good. See that psychopathic stare? Yeah.
The United States of America will not allow communist China.
See, they put that word again to make you have something against them. I see that as a jab stab word because it's like they're trying to downplay you while having this, you know? Meanwhile, it's the same thing as, I'm not homophobic, but, you know? Because they make you afraid. Well, not me. I've seen people in America be afraid when they speak against the sodomites. The first thing that they say is to defend themselves. It's like, look, I'm not against gays, because they know like, hey, you're gonna get that backlash, and they don't want that. A lot of people do care about the public's perception of them, and very minute or minuscule percentage or something like that. They don't care, and yeah. So that's that. Same thing with the racist Edomites. Because they're kind of scared. Not all of them, but a lot of them are scared, right? Not a lot of them, but I just say you have amongst them scared ones that they don't want to come over as racist, but they are. So they say stuff like, look, I'm not racist, but just black people are thieves. But he has to basically denounce that part that he is because of fear. Because they use words, and you know, I hope you get what I'm saying.
Or any other country to threaten the canal's operation or integrity.
Then came the troops.
3 U.S. Army helicopters arrived in Panama on Sunday.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famine, and pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places. So, this is a rumor of war. And the funny thing is, I've been talking about this for nearly a year now. Like, I got so many videos that I can just prove it. Like, no, I was talking about this for... But I'm not boasting of some stuff like that. But it's funny that, you know, I was talking about it. Well, not here. This is Iran. And, yeah. So, I think, what? Is this one? Let me see. Sorry. Yeah.
3 U.S. Army helicopters.
Another thing that I also saw is, look at the soldiers.
In Panama on Sunday.
Look at them. You don't see. What do you see? What race do you see? Do you see like Chinese people? What you see? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Huh? Michelangelo and Donatello and Raphael and Leonardo, all of them here. Where's Splinter? Here, maybe here. He's right here. Where's Shredder? Might probably hit him in one of them buildings or something. So hiding with Krang. But you see people from South America. You see them. So-called, well, they call themselves brown, but every fucking body is brown. I hate that fucking word. We're brown people. Shut the fuck up. I'm brown too. Get the fuck out of here with that dumb shit. Well, no, you're black. My hair is black. You vagabond. What are you talking about? Man. I can't stand some dumb shit, you know. It's just madness. No, he doesn't want to be black. What are you talking about? I'm probably more pro-black than you. Look at your wife's hair. Look at your hair. You call me Aaron until the fucking shit is not originally from your ancestors and stuff like that. You're trying to get that curly. Get the fuck out of here with that pro-black bullshit, nigga. We're different shades of brown as the same color as the earth. We're earthlings. Then get out of here with that crap baloney. That's some nonsense, okay? Esau taught you that. Let me go on. Look. You see only brown skinned people. You know, light brown, different shades of brown, I should say. These look like Indianos of different countries in South America. And then you have these two guys here. Well, these two lighter ones. I saw this one. I've seen this one too, but yeah, this one and this one. you know, and they have some form of leadership because they're all on their knees like a bunch of bitches. But you have these guys right here standing, so they would be possibly the leaders. I think so. Is that a chick? Look, you got this guy right over here, kind of looks suspicious, you know, mixed up with the caucus or whatever. And then you have the shit, man.
Army helicopters arrived in Panama on Sunday.
Then you have this what? You got this one over here. So I seen two. This one is kind of suspicious, and this one is like, you know, he look like a caucus, whatever. Might be mixed up too, but still, I'm looking at what the outside. I'm looking at the outside right now. You know, you looking at the outside? Yeah, I'm looking at the outside right now. Concerning because of the topic, you know, like, hey, I don't see no caucus people.
Y, o sea, demostrarnos a nosotros que tú tienes poder. Yo te lo digo hoy. Yo prefiero morir.
Because they want to fear them. They want to put scare into them. Now, if you look at the rest of the video, you will see why they don't want to bow. Because his family members already died, lost a lot of blood and stuff like that throughout this thing that Esau was doing, murdering people over there and stuff like that. You know, they've been doing that. So he's not afraid to die.
This deal that they signed would allow American troops to move in and reactivate 3 former American bases that they had vacated after they had left in the 90s, but they're now being resurrected, and with them, old ghosts from the past.
Con presencia militar nos sentimos como que vamos a volver a lo mismo. O sea, ya la gente está como estresada, nos sentimos como que vamos a volver a lo mismo. O sea, ya la gente está como estresada.
Eso se refuerza el dolor y se incrementa esta narrativa de Estados Unidos no puede ocupar nuestro territorio.
One Panamanian politician called this a camouflaged invasion, an invasion without firing a shot, but with a cudgel and threats. And Trump has continued to refuse to rule out the use of force to take the canal.
The use of force. Micah chapter 2 verse 2. And they covered fields. Now, don't get it twisted. The Israelites used to do this with each other too. Don't forget that. Like I said, the scriptures is a lot of time multifold. For example, you had Jezebel that had the king for the that had the field for the king. Let me see. I think his name was Naboth. And Naboth had a field of his ancestors. Let me see. So 1 Kings chapter 21 verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite. Now this is either Judah or Issachar because there's 2 Jezreels. You had Issachar Jezreel for real. And then you had Judah Jezreel for real. So yeah. But this one is, the one of us, Issachar, is literally in Joshua 19, if I'm correct. Let me see something. Yeah, here, Jezreel, Issachar. And this is Shunem, which is the woman of King David in 1 Kings chapter 1. She's a Shunammite. The virgin of King David. That he did not lay with, have sex with. But yeah, this is the, let me see, Issachar, this is the land of Issachar, Jezreelites, and then you had Jezreel, Judah. If you look up this word in the Hebrew, you will see that there's a Jezreel in Judah also. But yeah, I don't know which one. I think it's Judah, I think. So, had a vineyard, which was in Jezreel. Now I think it's Issachar. I don't know. It's either one of those two. Hard by the palace of Ahab, king of Samaria. Yeah, now I think, yeah, it's in Issachar, because it was of the northern tribes. Okay. And Ahab spake unto Naboth, saying, Give me thy vineyard, that I may have a garden of herbs. Somebody's at the doorway. Right. So it says here, Give me thy vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house. He wanted it. He saw it. He was like, fuck it, give it to me. because it is near unto my house, and I will give thee, and I will give thee for it a better vineyard than it. Or, if it seem good to thee, I will give thee a worth of it in money. And Naboth said unto Ahab the king, he said, Yahweh forbiddeth me, that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto thee. So, nothing whatsoever could be done for him to obtain that thing. And then, sons of Belial before him to bear witness against him, saying, Thou hast blasphemed Yahweh, and carried him out, and stoned him that he may die. And he stoned him that he died. Then they sent to Jezebel, saying, Naboth is stoned and is dead. But it was her, yes, but still, you had other Israelites that did this amongst each other, that they wanted in each other's land and stuff like that. They did. And they was also stealing each other's slaves. And then the Heavenly Father said, if I catch you stealing any one of each other's slaves, you're going to be put to death. So a lot of the scriptures are actually for the Israelites, but the heathen nations, they fall under it too, because the whole world is going to adhere, fancy word. The whole world is going to follow the law of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai eventually, and especially also, not especially, but also if you take the book into your own hand and then call yourself an Israelite, because, well, they call themselves Jews. They call themselves the people of the Lord. They call themselves Christians. So therefore, they're going to pay out of the book's judgment, out of the book's payment. You know, so, okay, I don't need this anymore. So, go back to over. Let me see. Oh, okay. Right, so it says Micah 2:2. And they covered fields and take them by violence. They want that parcel of land. They had it before, and then there came a war, and then it was like, you know what, we're going to leave it. But he always was like, I got my hand up in there. If you watch the documentary, then you will see how the treaty is written, because the guy goes over it, and it's very deceptive. Like, goddamn, there's some devil shit. Look, a supplanter. You and the supplanter are on 100. Both of you know what is to be lost and what is to be gained. Now, Esau didn't care about the birthright. He looked down on it. So he's like, fuck it, just give me the food. You know, YOLO. You only live once. And then later on, he lied on it. Like, he deceived me. No, he didn't. Well, he said he supplanted me, sorry. But he made it seem as if he stole it from him. He didn't steal anything from him. You knew the significance and the power and the glory and just the importance of the birthright. You didn't care. So I saw the importance of it because I was thinking of future and I was thinking of my children and stuff like that I didn't even had at that time. But no, Jacob. And then because he's a prudent man. Prudent? Jacob was a prudent man. Here, for example. Before the Lord took away our prudence, he said, let me see, Isaiah 3:1, for behold, Yahweh the Lord of hosts doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stability and the staff, which is our crutch, something that we lean on, which is Yahweh, and our stability is what we have got from Yahweh. The whole stability of bread and the whole stability of water. Now we get fed food and we get watered like cattle. The mighty man, he took it away. Not all 100%, because we still have mighty men among us. Some of them are so great that Esau wants them in his military, or he wants them in his cybersecurity, or he wants them in his IBM security type thing, which is Dr. Dean Mark. You know, he wants us to work for them as so-called scientists and stuff like that. The movie, The Hidden Colors movie, you know, he wants us, Hidden Colors, Hidden Figures, sorry. Here, this one.